So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing today. Welcome to my Whatever Wednesday, because as you've just seen, when you tune in, there's no telling what you will see. So I'm glad you're here today, and thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. I am Julie with Creations by Julie, and I name my Whatever Wednesday. I only go live once a week because this is very new to me and very much out of my comfort zone. And I would prefer that you never see me, that you always just see what I'm doing so that we can get it up close. But until we get some better equipment, this is what you're going to get. So I hope you'll still be able to see what happens today. As you hop on, tell us where you're from, and that's how we knew somehow Ed had touched the live button when he was trying to zoom in and get closer. Peggy, I believe I saw a comment from you. Ed's going to be reading the comments today because it takes too much time for me to try to have an iPad here and look at comments and try to do the craft too. So I have chosen to just spend my time concentrating on the craft. He will catch whatever questions he can, but feel free to post your questions because I always go back after the lives and read your comments and answer your questions, or you can just private message me. Today, we're actually going to talk about Magnolia Design stencils. My very first video is where I introduced you to Magnolia Design. So if you wanted to go back and find that, you can either check here on my page, or I have uploaded them to YouTube. And you can just type in either Creations by Julie or Magnolia Design, just CO. It's not company, it's just the CO. So,
Kaylee Hollifield said, "Hi, Mr. Ed, how you doing?"
You may see him today, Kaylee. It's good to see you. I'm really excited about the stencils today. Like I said, go back and watch the other video where I introduced you to Magnolia Designs, but I have become a maker for them because they had so many inspirational stencils that I wanted to make signs for my Etsy shop or make signs for my wreaths. There's no quota monthly. There's not very many rules at all, and I loved that, the fact that I could go on my page and talk about them and show you the things. So if you're interested in that, just shoot me a message and I'll answer any of your questions. Also, if you're just catching the replay, welcome. Be sure and comment. Like I said, I see the comments and I'll go back and look at them. I would appreciate it if you're not already a part of my page, if somebody has shared this and you just hopped over, if you would like and follow my page, and then you'll get to see all the different things that we do every Wednesday. We've done everything from stenciling to making fabric pumpkins. Last week I showed you how to take some things from the Dollar Tree and make them prettier, if you will. So that's my goal, is to help you do things to make your own stuff, your home decor. The wonderful thing about these stencils, the one I'm going to do, we're going to do at least 2 today, maybe 3 if we have time, but I've been waiting on these 2 stencils. It's Waymaker Miracle Worker is one of them, and we're going to be inking it on a t-shirt. And then this one is the Lord's Prayer. And I absolutely love these stencils. And something like this would be awesome if you just wanted to buy 1 stencil or a couple of stencils and some chalk paste and make Christmas gifts. These would make awesome Christmas gifts. Just to tell you a little bit about Magnolia Designs, they sell the stencils and they just have tons of them. I have put the link to my store at the top of this video. So when we're done here, go back and click on it and just look at all the different things. They also sell the surfaces, but you don't have to buy a surface from them. You can just pick up a chalkboard or something at Hobby Lobby. This happens to be the chalkboard that was sent to me in my kit, and it's a very nice wooden chalkboard. It's 11 by 14, and that's what I'm going to do and use today for this particular stencil. But they sell chalk paste. Chalk paste you're going to want to use on like the chalkboards, of course. And what's so cool about that is, if you remember in my first video, I showed you how you can't mess it up. Even kids can do this, and it's kid safe, water soluble, it's non-toxic. If you mess up on a chalkboard, all you do is take a wet rag and wipe it off. It comes off just so easy. What's cool about that is, once it dries, you can take your hand and rub all over it, and it's not like chalk that comes off. It's more like a paint, but kids can't mess it up. But you can decorate your home for the holidays, and then when you decide to change it, you just wipe off and use the same chalkboard for something else. Now you can make it permanent, and which is what I do for anything that I put on my Etsy store. I want to make it permanent where it doesn't wash off. And you just spray it with a clear matte finish, clear spray. But anyway, we're going to get started on a couple of these, and I'm going to show you. This comes just the one stencil by itself.
Dana Elliott said, do you only use a chalk paste on a chalkboard, or basically anything that isn't fabric?
Yes, or you can use it on glass. They suggest the ink on anything that can be put in the oven and heat set. But I've used it on my signs, so wood. It's just, wood is not as forgiving as a chalkboard, so you have to wipe it off pretty quick if you make a mistake or something. Or you can just resand the wood and do it again. They suggest the ink for fabric, especially. We're going to do a t-shirt here in a minute, and I'm going to use the ink. But there's so many pretty surfaces out there that are the chalkboards. So let's get started. We're going to start with this. Like I told you, this is a brand new stencil. So they suggest the first thing, I tell you what, and I need a pencil. My suggestion is they are reusable stencils. They're kind of like a mesh. Sometimes it's kind of hard to, this is the first time this one's been out, so you just find the corner. And you don't want to just pull, I don't mean a pencil, Ed, sorry. Pen's fine. But you have one side of your backing that's shiny and one side that's kind of matte. So what I suggest, the first thing, and I forgot to put a pencil, is that you just put a B or something. Some people write the name of their stencil. I just do something where I know that's the back part. So once I've cleaned my stencil, I know what side to put it back on. But these are very sticky. Now on the chalkboard, it won't matter that much, but they suggest that you fuzz it up, is what they call it. And they have a cloth that you can do that. The reason you want to fuzz it just a little bit, if I was putting this on wood, especially something that I had painted or stained, you don't want it so sticky that when you pull it up, it pulls up part of your paint. The chalkboard, it's not going to do that, but I don't want it stick so hard that it stretches my stencil. Because trust me, I will be using this stencil a lot. You do not have to have this fuzz cloth. A lot of people just put it on their clothes. You just put it on you just wear it, huh? Just put it on your clothes and fuzz it a little, so it's not quite so sticky. Now, one thing that I forget sometimes, make sure that you've got your chalkboard the right side. This one has where it can go this way or this way. You want to make sure that you got it with the top. And then you just, I'm going to have to stand up to do this, because you just want to center your stencil on the board. This is going to take up the biggest part. You could also put this on an 11 by 14. That's what this frame is 11 by 14. You could put this on a canvas panel and then put a pretty frame around it. I just want to make sure I'm not the greatest at doing things straight either. But it's repositionable, you just pull it up. Now you could get very technical and measure. But then you want to make sure that your stencil is on there good. I feel something underneath there. Maybe a little piece of fuzz. Probably something on my shirt. Alright, one of the differences between the ink and the chalk paste, the paste is a little bit thicker. You use the same stencils whether you're using the ink or the paste. You just want to make sure your words are down good, where it doesn't bleed under. You don't have any bubbles in your stencil. Now, you could take this and you could do different colors. I could do Our Father one color, Amen a different color. You could pick out certain words, do them different colors. I've chose just for time's sake and everything today, and I think the classic black and white looks best on a lot of things, and it'll probably make it easier to read. So what I'm going to do is just use the chalk paste. This is actually called Almond Latte. You get 3 ounce. I believe they're about $10.99 for a thing of paste, and it will last you forever. This is more of a country white. So when you open your paste, you want to just stir it real well. That kind of activates it. You want it about the consistency of maybe a cake batter. So you can tell, you can actually use like acrylic paints with these stencils if you want to. It might stain your stencil just a little bit on the edges, but that would be okay. The only thing is you want to make sure you buy a good quality paint like Master's Touch at Hobby Lobby has a thick paint that works better, because sometimes your acrylic paints are just too thin and it will bleed. But you know the thing about it, I'm using it on a chalkboard. If I mess it up, I don't like it, I just take a washcloth and erase it. But you don't like that for me. Okay. So then I'm going to try to do this pretty fast, because when you've got a bigger stencil, if you're going to change colors, what you would do is maybe just do part of it and then pull your stencil up. You do not want your paste drying in the words of your stencil. But they wash. So I'm just going to take this and put it on here, because I'm going to do the whole thing one color. And I'm going to stand up to do that too. You could take painter's tape if it's real close to the edges, which this, I don't think any of these words are, but you could protect stuff by just putting some painter's tape down on the edges, and you just scrape it on there. Like I said, a child can do this. I sent Lainey home a couple of stencils, and she is, gosh, I think she turned 12, but she had a good time with it. She had some flowers. So what you want to do, once you get it covered, you want to take, and see, it took very little, I see it's dribbling. It takes very little paste. And just take your excess and get it up. Put it back in your container. I did check this morning, and all 3 of the stencils I'm using today are in stock, which this is one I believe that will sell out fast. And I think this would be an awesome stencil to do for gifts. You would need probably an 11 by 14 surface. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure you don't have paste or ink on your fingers, and then you've got it on there. Make sure I haven't left off any parts of it. And then you're just gonna take it. You want to pull from the corners or the sides together, so you don't stretch your stencil. Now if I happen to see somewhere that I had missed, I could just lay it back down. So far it looks good. You might need somebody else sometimes to, just hold the board so I can pull. Oh gosh, that looks so pretty. Really. All right, now once you've got your stencil off, I have a pan of water over here, and I'm just gonna, that deactivates the sticky, and it also, that's how you'll clean your stencils, and I'll get to it in a few minutes, but, okay. Now, there's a little there. Maybe I just dropped some. It could be fuzz, but you would just wipe it off. Okay, let me turn it around. And see how quick that was?
Kaylee wants to know what the stencils are made of.
They're a mesh of some sort. They're kind of, they call them stencils, but Kaylee, to me, it's more of like a transfer.
Silk screen.
Silk screen, that's it. They're more like a silk screen. Some of them have, now this is just plain words. Some of them have a lot of detail in them, like there's one with a chicken that just has all the detail in it of a silk screen. And they're all cleaned the same way. All right, there's this. But they're reusable up to about 25 times. You just purchase the one stencil and you just clean it well. You need like a disinfectant wipe after you clean it. I did a YouTube video, I believe, on cleaning the stencils. If not, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about Magnolia designs and how to take care of your stencils. But if you just clean it to where the paste doesn't sit inside the silk screen, if something stains the outside of it, it's no big deal. All right, so now, don't y'all think that would make a great Christmas gift? This is going in my Etsy shop this week, probably. And it was just so quick and easy.
Kaylee said it turned out pretty, and Dana Elliott said it came out perfect.
I love it. And it's just so simple. All right, I'm just going to throw my thing in there and close up my chalk paste. Now, if you open your chalk paste, and sometimes when you get new paste, it's a little hard, you just take a squirt bottle with distilled water, put a little bit of water in it. We talked about that one of the other videos too, and just keep stirring it till it gets the consistency. I mean, it's not messed up, it's not ruined. Just stir it and add a little bit of water. All right, Ed, this is the backing to that stencil. Just lay it over there. I can clean these stencils when I'm done. Okay, now, this is the Waymaker. It's another one. This pen doesn't want to write. That's okay. It's another one that I was waiting for. And I actually, pull it loose, just put a V right there. Anybody who actually joins as a maker will get a free gift from me. I'm going to send you one of these fuzzing cloths. Now, there's several ways to purchase from Magnolia Designs. You can just click on that link at the top of the page. You'll be in my store. You can just pick out something and pay for it, and they'll ship it to you. Or if you're interested in either selling it or just saving a little bit of money for yourself, as makers, we get something like 30 or 35% off of what we purchase. And you get a kit that is $69, and you get a lot of stuff in that kit. But you can look on the website and read all about that. But anybody who wants to sign up as a maker, like I said, I'll send you a free fuzz cloth. There again, you can use a towel. You can use your clothes as long as it doesn't pick up pieces of fuzz. Okay, now we're going to use our ink. Let me get the t-shirt. And I'll tell you, I have already, you can put cardboard between. I have put a sticky pad because it helps make the shirt stick a little bit better and makes it so I get it straight. So you're just going to take, I've done dish towels. This is the first t-shirt I've made, I believe. But the same with your, I'm going to use a black ink. Now, what I do, you may not be a messy crafter like me, but I'm a messy crafter. Once I get my stencil on here, and they say go down about 4 inches. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. Hopefully I get it straight if I go with their label and kind of do straight. It may not be quite 4 inches. Let me come down a little bit more. Put your stencil down. Your ink is a little bit thinner than the chalk paste, but since this is fabric, you want to use the ink. Okay, now you could do blue tape because the ink is not as forgiving as the chalk paste. If I get ink on this shirt, it's there, even if I haven't heat set it. So what I usually do is cover my project with some paper, because even though this is the first t-shirt I've done dish towels, and I think the first dish towel that I did, I touched it.
Dana Elliott said she cuts vinyl and makes t-shirts, and sometimes people want such detailed designs it's hard for the machine to cut them.
Yeah, well, these are the designs, the detail in some of these are just awesome. All right, I'm gonna lay a little bit of paper here also. Because like I said, I'm messy, and I want to make sure that I don't dribble on it. Okay, I think that's on there good. What did I do with my squeegee? I covered it up somewhere. Oh well, I'll just use another one. I'll clean this one that's in the pan and use it. That's what happens when you go live. Things happen. I'm just gonna get this one out of this bucket of water and clean it. A lot of times I cut, like in a few minutes we're going to use a smaller one. These squeegees you can cut with scissors and just use whatever size you want. Okay, let's see here. Your ink usually doesn't have to be stirred as much. See, it's a little thinner.
Kayla says she thinks it's under the right side of the t-shirt.
It probably is, but that's okay. We're just going to use this one. Can you tell how the ink is a little thinner? You don't want so much. I need to stand up so I can get the top part of that. You don't want so much that it bleeds. But you want to make sure you get all the way up. There again, you could do this different colors. They just got this stencil a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it would be perfect on a shirt. It took longer to put the piece between the shirt than it will actually take to stencil it. And also your ink doesn't dry quite as fast as your paste, so you don't have to be as fast. Okay, I'm going to move this down here just so I don't dribble. And you can see I've got it on my fingers, so I'm going to have to clean my hands good. I have discovered that black does stain a little bit on the stencils, but not inside the transfer. the silk screen. It might stain the edges, but that's not going to matter. Okay. Still a little bit up here. I want to make sure I get the top part of that K. Okay. Clean my hands.
Jeannie says hi.
Hey Jeannie, how you doing? We're praying for you, girl. Have you got a date set for surgery yet? She may not answer because I think sometimes she has it on mute. She's watching while she works. Okay, well, there it is. I'm going to make sure there's none on my fingers. And then I'm going to take it and just pull straight. Okay. That looks good. Looks like that might have a little bit of a bleed, but it's still readable. Put it in my water on the other stencil. It's no big deal. As soon as the live is over, I will clean my stencils. You don't want your stencils to sit with the ink or the stuff in them for very long. But as long as you have them in water. Okay. All right, I'll try to turn it around here. Y'all see that? That's going to look really good. All right, so what you would do now is, if you had cardboard underneath there, that's fine. I'm going to let Ed take this sticky thing out because honestly it's from a different company and I already had it. So, and then he's going to lay the t-shirt over there to dry when he takes the sticky thing out from in under it. But that's how quick you can get it done. And let's see, I want to do one more project with you since those went pretty quick. What we're going to do here is make some little shelf sitters. And I want them to say thankful, grateful, and blessed. These are also from a new stencil that's called Fall Words, I believe. It's a fairly large stencil. Like I said, I've already cut off these thankful, blessed, and grateful. But what's so neat about this is, look at all the different words. You've got Thanksgiving, family, pie, autumn, leaves, bonfire, spice, camping, patch, football, turkey. It's got, happy fall, y'all, gobble, gather, pumpkin, harvest, and you just cut it apart and use the words you want to. You could take a frame for a piece of wood and make a sign for your wreaths. Or what I'm going to do is do these cute little shelf sitters. But this was called Fall Words on that stencil. All I did with these is Ed cut a little piece of wood. It's probably about 2 by 5 or something like that, but just big enough to put these words on. And then I stained it, and then I took some sandpaper and just sanded them. So we're going to put these on here, and there again, I'm going to fuzz them a little bit so that it doesn't pull up my stain or pieces of wood. If you get pieces of wood on the back of your stencils, that's not good. So, Ed, would you just put a B on that side of all those. Okay. So I'm just going to fuzz it a couple of times. Now, if you've used the stencil 10 times or so, you probably don't have to worry about fuzzing it, defuzzing it, or whatever you want to call it. I want it to stick, but I don't want it to stick so much. All right, now that's about in the middle. Okay, and then you just press on the stencil part of it. I thought these could be stacked. They could be just be sitting on the 3-tiered tray. And I'm doing them just in the cream color, the almond latte, because you could do an orange for Thanksgiving, but I thought this way these could be used year round. And they don't have to be perfect either, centered, or I'm just gonna go with it. And if you mess up, you just sand it off and do it again. You can't take a wet rag. I have been able to take wood before, and if I mark it, get it off really quick. But this particular, something that wood. This particular group of stencils, I mean, the possibilities are endless with the words and the signs you could make. Okay, all right, let me get mine. And I'm going to use a smaller squeegee for these. And it's just real quick. Just put it on there, slide it through. A thing of paste, chalk paste, will last you forever. And then you want to scrape off the excess. Pull it up. There's your little word. I'm going to put this in my water. I don't usually put 3 or 4 stencils in the water at the same time, but they'll be fine. Okay. Now, if you wanted to seal these, I mean, you wouldn't have to. You're going to have them inside. They're not, you know, going to be on a wreath or anything, but if I wanted to put them on a grapevine wreath or something, I would just spray them with a Rust-Oleum non-yellowing clear matte spray. I do not spray my wreaths, my deco mesh, with matte because it will discolor. It'll put a white film on them. I use the gloss. All right, there's our bless. We'll do our thankful. I love this stencil set because, like I said, I think I may do a set of 3 of these that say Happy Fall, y'all, too. But I mean, there again, I mean, you could put these on dish towels and just use the ink because you use the same stencils. And then just pull it off. And that's how quick it is. So there you've got your grateful, thankful. I think it says grateful, thankful, blessed is usually the way the phrase is worded in there. So it's that quick and that easy. And like I said, I think I'll do Happy Fall, y'all. But anyway, just click on that link and check out the stencils that Magnolia Design has. They're not real expensive, and like I said, anybody can make some really neat gifts with the stencils. The link is at the top of this video. Hand me the sign again. If you're late coming in, here's the chalkboard that we did with the Lord's Prayer. Then I used the ink on a t-shirt. Now, to set the t-shirt, I don't think I talked about that. Oh, let me show you. See, this is dry, and I mean, you can rub it, and it's not going to come off. But if I want to just put this up as decoration and get a stencil that's with pumpkins or something, you use it for the holidays, and then you take a wet rag and just wipe it off. And I showed you that, I think, on our very first video. I completely wiped off, but I'm putting this in my Etsy store, so I don't want to wipe it off. I will seal it so that it is permanent. But anyway, it's cool because you can just put it somewhere and change it every season with a different stencil. As far as the t-shirt, when it's totally dry, what I will do is take it and Probably put a piece of cardboard between the 2 layers and take a piece of parchment paper, not wax paper, it needs to be parchment paper, and lay over the top of it and take an iron on medium setting and heat seal it. A lot of people have those Cricut machine things that heat seal. That's fine too. But you would run the iron over it for about 4 minutes. Then you want to turn it wrong side out and do the same thing on the back side of it. And I've had some dish towels that I have washed probably 20 times. And I mean, it's still on there. So that works really well. But if you have any questions at all and Ed didn't catch them, just put them in the comments and I'll go back and look at them. Next week, we're going to do something a little bit different. I had put a picture of this rag tree on my shop and people wanted to know how to do it. So next week, we're going to do, this is the tall one. I'm going to work on they're going to be sold in sets of 2. So I'm going to show you how and explain to you how to make a rag tree for next week. So that will be our craft for next week. If y'all have any suggestions of something that I make or that you would like to see made, just let me know. Okay, I think that's it for today. Short and sweet, and thank y'all so much for coming. I hope you have a great Wednesday, and God bless. Thank you. Bye.